Good afternoon, beautiful children of God. This is Tasha the teacher. Welcome to Heart to Heart ATL. Today I'm gonna talk about something that's been going on with me, and it may seem strange to other people. It may seem weird. It may even seem untrue, but I'm a true believer in God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus is our Savior. He loves us. He was resurrected, and He will return. So with that being said, I know that we're battling supernatural things. We're in a supernatural warfare here, but there are also things that are here that's tangible that we can touch. I don't know if you people believe in UFOs or hybrids, or even that the government is mixing breeds. Because growing up, we were always taught that you can't mix different breeds like animals with humans. And when people say that they seen them, a lot of people look at them like they're crazy. And to be fair with me, a lot of crazy stuff has been going on. My mommy died January the 19th of 2022, and I have been going through a lot. She was my best friend, and you know I just, at times I felt like I was going to lose my mind, like I was going crazy, but for God, which speeds me up to this year. I started back exercising with my friend, walking at Stone Mountain. Everybody knows that Stone Mountain Park is my favorite place in the world here in Georgia. So we started walking, and we had been walking like, I want to say like 2 weeks. And one day, like 3 weeks ago, we were walking, and this was the first time that her and I walked to the park, and we walked up the mountain. Now, everyone knows I walk to the side of the mountain. I don't walk up the middle of the mountain because I bring my animals. And on the side of the mountain, it's almost like a clear path. You can tell vehicles go up, because times I've seen vehicles drive up there, the park district vehicles. And so it's like a paved way with the rocks. And you can also see off the side of the mountain, just like it's like you up and personal with the mountain. You could see things on the sides that you can't see. You could see like it looks like a whole different world. If you've seen any of my lives, you saw it. I've taped it plenty of times. It almost looks like, if at parts, like you're walking on the moon. That's how it looks to me. So one morning, it was between 9 and 11. Me and my friend, we were walking on the side of the mountain. I had my two dogs with me. So they were running up. A couple of days before that, I never walk my dogs on leashes unless I have to. So my friend and I, we don't park in the park. We park outside of the park, like a block away, and we walk to the park. So as we're walking, my dogs, they run out sometimes in the streets. So she would call out to them, and I had to stop, because she would like get hysterical with it, like, Daniel, Rachel, which scares my dogs. And sometimes she does that. They'll run out farther into the street where the cars are coming. So a couple of days before this particular day I'm about to talk about, I told her to stop doing that. Like, don't yell at them, don't do any of that, because you're going to make them afraid. You may make them run out in the street. So, okay, she agreed to that. So, speed up to about 2 days later. We're walking up the mountain. Great, beautiful day, sunny, hot. We go halfway up. Now, if you've been up Stone Mountain, you know that halfway up the mountain, there's a rest area. And on the side of the mountain, that's where the side of the mountain where I usually walk up ends, and then I'll go in the middle and walk up the rest of the mountain. But the gravel trail, it ends right there. So we walked just that far because I had my animals with me, and you can't take them up to the rest of the mountain. So we turned around to go back. Now, a block before exiting the mountain is like, remember I said it's parts of it that to me it looks like you're on the moon. So it's this one particular area. It's like, I want to say a Chicago half a block. Like it looks like the moon. So Daniel, he's running. The dogs are running, but Daniel, he's getting excited. He runs far ahead, And I could tell, like, we've seen deer, squirrel, he chases everything. So I could tell he sees something, but I don't care because I know nothing's gonna hurt him in the park. He's normal. He's used to this, and he goes ahead. Now I'm walking ahead of my friend. She's behind me, like maybe 20 feet behind me. So I'm not paying attention. I'm just walking. I just walk. I don't pay attention to Daniel, Rachel, until I haven't seen them in a minute. So I'm just walking. So I walk past Daniel. He's like in a big area where the moon space, let's just call it the moon space. He's in the moon space and he's running, and I see him out of my peripheral. He's to the left. I see him out of my peripheral and he just barking. Ah. So scope. I didn't see any deer. So I'm looking to, I'm sorry, Daniel's on my right. I look to the left because that's where the view is. It's just like beautiful to the left. So I'm just walking and I'm just looking to the left because I can still hear him barking. So my friend, she like starts screaming, Daniel! Daniel! So I immediately just turned to look at her like, we just went through this a couple of days ago. I look at her like, so when I look at her, she's like, her eyes is really big. She's looking at like, so I immediately I turn to look at Daniel. He's like sitting stark, like in the middle of the moon space, just looking like his attention was so focused. So I look at him. So I then look to where, he was looking at. As I looked to where he was looking at, I could see the back of something. It was an animal. It had to be. Now, I'm going to be transparent. I cannot see far. To really, everything outside of my arm view is very blurry. It had to be like, I want to say a half a block, a Chicago block. A half a block in front of me where there's the forest area, like bushes. So I look there and I see something and I'm looking, but the tail was like really high over, like it went over the tree. It was, I want to say like 2 of my arm lengths long and wide. And it was curled at the end like a hook out. And it had hair like a dog. It looks like my niece's dog's tail. And the hair was just hanging, and I'm looking, and the legs had to be at least, I'm 5'10" and a half. Now, I'm looking, and I'm saying to myself, like, this thing is really, really big, because I'm looking at the tail, and all of this is happening, I want to say in like 10, 15 seconds, but it just seemed like it went on for a while, because it was like slow motion. It was walking into the bushes, and I could just see the hind legs in the tail. And I was just standing there trying to understand what was this I just seen. I'm trying to rationalize this because I'm looking at the tree line, and I'm just replaying this in my head like that tail was over the tree line. So I don't know. I stood there for maybe a good 30 seconds, and I'm trying to figure out, like, so I just turned and I looked at my friend, and she was still in the same position she was in. And at this point, her face was white. She looked like she had seen a ghost. And I'm saying, I said, did you just see that? And she was like, yeah. And I said, what did the face look like? What did it look like? And she was like, I guess what she had seen the more of the body than I did, like as it was stepping in. And she said she didn't see the face. And she said, that's why I started screaming and I started calling Daniel. And I just stood there and I'm just looking and I'm imagining. I was like, I said that thing had to be taller than I was. Like the legs had to be at least this high. And I said that tail had to have been at least amount to, because I'm looking at the tree line. And I said, am I crazy, or did you see what I saw? And I explained what I just saw. She was like, yes. So I hadn't been back to the park. I left. I started looking on YouTube and seeing different things. No one has seen anything that I explained that I had seen, that I had found on YouTube. I found a lot of things where they said they've seen Bigfoot and other creatures and things here, but never the one I've seen. So fast forward, like, I want to say a week ago. I'm no, maybe 2 weeks ago, because it wasn't too far after the incident at Stone Mountain. So I'm sitting here. I remember it was a weekend. I'm sitting here. It was just something was just really loud. I had my TV on and I kept turning my TV up because what it sounded like somebody was listening to a TV, but it was loud. I could hear, how you could hear something, but you can't understand what's going on, but you can just hear a noise. And I wasn't really paying attention because when I was looking at my reality shows, and I was just focused because I just kept turning the TV up like somebody TV or radio is really loud. So during this time, as I'm watching TV, this was like about an hour this going on. The dogs, they're running in and out. They, like, the fifth time they ran, they wanted to run out the door. This wasn't even within an hour because I never finished watching the show until later after. But they wanted to keep running out. So the fifth time I got up to open the door, because my TV was so loud, I was like annoyed. So I just bent down because my dogs, they just made a doggy door in my screen. So I just bent down to listen to hear, like, what is this? Like, what are they listening to? And it was just like a noise. It was just like, and it was like so loud. So I turned my TV down. I put my TV on mute to hear it. And when I put my TV on mute and I went back to the door, it was doing the same thing, but I could feel it now. I could feel the bass in my chest. Like, my chest was vibrating. Like, when you sitting in a car and the bass is going, and that's how my chest felt. So I'm just like, and then I'm bent down, in my screen I had my head through the hole because I didn't want to stick open my door all the way. So I'm just listening, and then it was just like, then it was just like, and it was just so loud. It was so loud. I know they had to hear it in, I don't know how far, like, it's a block. I want to say they had to hear it within 3 Chicago blocks. They had to hear. I mean, it was deafening over here. Like, it was crazy. So I just left the door open because I had got tired of the opening the doors with the dog, and I just left the TV up because I was just sitting here just listening like, what the heck is that? That's not an animal I had ever heard before. That sound never, and I didn't grow up on technology. I just, like, when I saw the thing at the Stone Mountain, I had my phone in my hand, but the first thing I do not think is to grab my phone and start filming or any of that. So I sat there for like 5 minutes just listening to it. So then I just was like, forget it. Maybe this is in my head. Maybe I'm going crazy. Now, the dogs, every dog over here in my complex was just barking and going crazy. So I just turned my TV back up, got into the show, and I don't even know when it stopped, but it finally stopped. So a couple of days after that, I saw my neighbor. So when I asked her, we were talking, and I remembered. So I was like, did you hear that noise that was going on the other night? Like, you been in Georgia a while. What kind of animal was that? I said, because it didn't sound like no animal to me. And she agreed with me. And of course, we both agreed it sounded like Bigfoot. Now I'm gonna try to get her on tape too as well, because I'm not crazy. And it was just weird because I was like, so no, not let me go back to that very night. One of the times Daniel went out, this was the last time Daniel went out in the yard. And I know Daniel's barks. I know he and Rachel's barks. I can tell, like, if it's a person walking through or it's an animal. I don't know. They're my kids. I can tell, like, you can tell when your kids cry. I can tell when my dogs cry, like, what it is. This was an alarm bark, like, mommy, something is coming. So I go to the door. I look out the door. Daniel's sitting like he was at Stone Mountain in the middle of the moon space. He's sitting straight up, and he's looking. Now, he stopped barking when I came to the door. So the noise was like really, really loud this time. So I stood there for a minute. Then something started moving in my back. Like, I have, like, I told you, I have a little forest area in my back. Something started moving, and, like, I can tell, like, if it's a small animal or a big animal when it's coming through grass or trees or anything like that. And this, I could tell, was a huge thing. Like, it was, like, by my back gate. So I started screaming to tell Daniel to come in, because I could tell how the trees and stuff was moving. It could bust through this gate. This is flimsy board gate. It could bust through this gate. And not only if it could bust through this gate, I know it could bust. This is glass door. It could bust through this door. So I called Daniel in. I just closed the door, and I just sat there and I watched, because I left my light on, because with my lights on, I could see stuff, the trees and stuff moving. And I left it on, and then, like, after I closed the door, I want to say maybe 20 seconds later, the trees and stuff stopped moving. But the noise, the sounds, they kept going on. Like I said, I came back and I just turned my TV up and just listened for a while and tuned it out. Now, fast forward to today. I went to Stone Mountain again with a friend. My grandson, with my grandson. And, I told him the story. He wanted to see the area where I had seen the thing. So I took him to the area, and, like, when we went to the area, you could tell, like, when something comes through, like, something big comes through a forest area, you can tell, because it's a path. It's mowed down. Everything in its way is mowed down. Like, when we got there and I showed him, we looked, and I was like, he even taped it and went on. I don't worry about it. We got that tape. So I could tell, like, you could tell something big had went through there, because the trees and the foliage around it was down. So as we're walking through, we just walking around, just looking, because now something big went through here. So yeah, I want to see. So we end up going to the side of the mountain. Like, it's an area that goes straight down the mountain on the side. It's not a path. You're not supposed to go down that way. I don't think. I've never seen anyone come up or go down there as long as I've been going there. And I've been to Stone Mountain thousands of times. So I've always wanted to walk down there, but it's so steep. I'm by myself and with a dog. I was scared. So we sat there for probably about 10 minutes, and I kept looking at my grandson, and I could tell he really wanted to go down. So I was like, you want to go down this way? And he was, yeah. And we had saw a train. A train had went through. So we walked down. We ended up walking to the tracks. So we're walking along the tracks, just walking. I said, well, it's going to have to let us out of here somewhere. So we just walking. So we get down the tracks, and as we're going down, we get further, we start seeing signs that says restricted area. So I'm like, we still going. Like, obviously they got something back here they don't want us to see. Let's keep going. I don't know how to read. I don't see these signs. So I love my grandson. He's down with me. He's my protector. Y'all know that. But he's always down with me, so supportive. I love him. So we end up walking. So we got there like 11 something. We end up eventually leaving at 4 something. So that's how long we were just walking down these tracks. So I was like, well, it's going to be a way that's going to let us out. So we're going to go out that way. And so we eventually we kept walking, and the signs started. First, when we started seeing the restricted signs, they were far apart from each other. Then I guess as we were getting closer to, whatever they were doing that they didn't want us to see, the signs started getting closer and closer. So I was like, now we getting close to something. So we get to a gate where I guess it didn't have a thing where it could lock or anything, but yeah, there were like 3 or 4 signs lined up right there, restricted, restricted. So I said, okay, let's keep going. With the first place we see to get out, we'll just get out because it still looked like everything looked the same. It just started. It did start looking different. The forest part started looking more dense, more intense to where you couldn't really see through anything. So we walked through and probably like about 15 feet from the gate, I looked and I saw where we can get out. So we end up leaving and going out the side of the gate. We had to squeeze through. It was a lock. This one was locked. So we had to squeeze through it and walk down to the road. You know, they have a road there through Stone Mountain where the regular cars could just drive through. So right across the other side was the lake that I always go to when I would go. So my grandson wanted to go down there. So we went down there. So as we were sitting there, I was on live. I was just walking around, you know, telling what had happened to us today. And I looked. I had my glasses on doing the thing, and as I was looking, I saw somebody. It seemed like I saw a face, but people walk. It's very few people walk through there. First of all, I've never seen a park ranger, anyone with any badges or anything, period, especially down in that area where I walk to along the beach. Now, I don't see a lot of people there, but I have seen a few. So I saw the face, but I just didn't register like, okay, I just looked and I just kept talking. And then I'm on my live, and if you could see my live on Facebook, you can probably tell the point where I noticed this person again. And when I noticed this person again, they weren't walking, because I had dawned on me what made me go back and start looking at that area, because no one never walked past us. And I was like, I know I saw a face right there. And I'm like, maybe I didn't. So I started scanning the area, looking around, and I noticed I saw a face. But mind you, I don't have on my glasses at this point. And what made me notice, because they kind of moved. And it was like an opening in one of the little foliage areas where I saw it. So I looked, and then they just started walking towards us. Now, at this point, I could see fully. It's a lady. I guess she's a park ranger or whatever. She had a hat on, you know, in full uniform. Now, the area where this is at, what was crazy was that she would have to walk down the hill, the side of the mountain, in full uniform, belt, everything on, full uniform, just to walk down there. Nothing's going on down there, so why did you walk down here? So when she gets up close to me, I'm just looking, because now I'm afraid, like, we're by the lake. It's me and my grandson and my 2 dogs. Anything could happen to us at this point. So I'm already on live, so I'm trying to let her know like I'm on live without saying I'm on live, you know. So she walks past. At this point, she just turns her head like she don't want me to film her. So I'm like, hello, I speak. She speaks back. She walks past my grandson. Now he's on the phone live or whatever he was on. So he films her. He got turned and, you know, showed her face. I don't know if he was filming or but no, he actually didn't see her face, because when she got to him and she saw he was also on his phone, but I have that part. She turned like that, totally away to where he couldn't film her as well. And she just walked slowly down the path. So as soon as she started walking past, I gathered us up and I left. I got off the live and I left. Now, as we're leaving, helicopters are flying over us. Now, I'm not even paying attention to that, because now I'm trying to figure out, like, I've never seen these guards. I've never seen this lady, any people in here, especially you would have to walk down here with 20 pounds worth of stuff fully dressed, and you wouldn't have done that unless something was going on down here. So my grandson here, he was like, here's helicopters. I look up, they're over like the area where we're at. We're walking, we're leaving. Okay, I'm like, wow. So it gets crazy. As we're leaving, because I don't park in the park. It's like a block away. We had to walk to the car to get there. So we get in the car, really, my grandson's driving. We're leaving. Now, he looks in the rearview mirror and he was like, Granny, who is that? It was a black Cadillac. Blacked out. I could barely see the face of the driver because I turned around to let them know I'm looking at you. I get in the between the seats and I look like I'm looking at you. It was a lady. She had black rim glasses on, and I can't remember if that lady that walked through the park had the black rim glasses on, because on the tape you can't see her face. You can only see like her side because she turned and her back. And as I'm looking, letting her know I'm looking, she just putting her head down, like moving, and I'm like, wow. So I'm telling my grandson, because we're at a stop and there are cars coming this way and that way. So I'm like, just pull out. I'm pumped to see if she's going to chase us. I'm like, just pull out real fast. So he couldn't immediately pull out really, really fast. So by the time he got ready to pull out, it was just open. So she was able to just pull out with us. So I'm like, just drive. So by this time, I'm looking in the back. I'm letting her know, like, if you're following us, we already on to it. So when we get to this first corner, like, you could turn right. You couldn't turn left, or you just had to keep straight. So as soon as we get up to the corner, I'm like, turn. So he turned real quick. And when he turned, it was so quick, and she couldn't turn because I had already made it known by me getting in the middle of the seats looking that I know we're being followed. So she just slowed up and slowly went past the thing. She slowed down. But he also told me that she was speeding up. That's what made him notice that she was behind him, because we were in a school zone. It was a 25 an hour. Everyone drives down here. They drive that 25 an hour. Trust me. So he said he was speeding up, and she started speeding up and got directly behind him. So that's what made him notice her following us. So now what I'm going to do to either try to further know that I'm not crazy, I have one camera here in my house, and I'm going to put it in my window, and I'm going to see if, any cars are in here following us, or any cars are circling by, because I saw another story. This exactly happened to a young man on a mountain. It was in Canada, and he ended up supposedly committing suicide. Everyone in my family already knows I would never, ever commit suicide. I have never used any hard drugs. The only drug I have ever used is nicotine and marijuana. I have never tried anything else. So if anything ever happens to me and they find drug, tell them to test me for long run drug use. Or have I ever, from that point, ever had any drugs in my system other than marijuana or cigarettes? Oh, and liquor. Well, I haven't drank liquor in years. But that's it. I would never commit suicide. Everyone knows I'm afraid of guns. I would never shoot nothing, hold a gun, or do any of that. So if anything happens to me, you all know, my family already knows this. I'll never, if any time I would have committed suicide, it would have been January the 19th, 2022. So it ain't going to happen. I'm here. And I'm just trying to get my story out, because I want you guys to know that. Also, just even looking at the stories on YouTube about sightings of different things, notice there's a pattern. It's where Army, Navy, Air Force, it's where bases are. So, and also where big areas that are filled. Georgia is probably 70% forest. And these are sightings of where they're at. So just keep that in mind. It's something bigger out here, and we have to understand that. And just be careful. The thing that I seen in the park, I don't think that it was violent. Let me say that. I don't think that it was an attack, because it would have attacked Daniel, and it did not do that. It didn't flinch. It just slowly moved into. But I've also seen things where you have things that people are saying that are attacking. And if they're letting loose stuff in these cities and we don't know about it, that's a problem. I don't know if you guys believe this. I don't know if you guys believe in aliens or UFOs, or you believe that this can happen. I just have so many questions, because I know what I saw. And I know that it's real. I know that there is other things out there that they're not, meaning the government, is not telling us that's out there. And I've seen it. Can't no one but God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit tell me that I didn't see what I saw. Because I know that I saw something, and it was not an average animal. It was not. So I just want to know, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that this is real? Do you think that the government is actually manipulating different DNAs to get results? And I've seen stuff where they just let it go to see if it's going to, how it's going to react with different animals, how it's going to react around humans. But they're taking a chance with our lives. So I just want to know what you guys think about that. Can you guys tell me? I have, I was on the phone. I had some callers too. They have some questions. I have this young man on the phone. Hello, Mr. Miami.
Hello.
How you doing tonight? So what was your question? What do you think about this?
So, you already really answered it, though. I just wanted to know what you seen.
Oh. So do you believe that there are other things out here? I mean, do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in, like, here in Georgia where I'm from, well, not originally, I'm from Chicago too. Born and raised. But there are so many sightings of Bigfoot. Do you believe like it could be something out there like that?
I mean, it could. I ain't gonna say it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I answered your questions. But I'm just going to end this because that was my only caller. Thank you for the support, Mr. Miami. And I just want you guys to just comment, subscribe, and share, y'all, my Hearts of Heart ATL. But I just want you to comment because this is, to me, is so real. And I just want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that there are other beings, other animals, beings? I've seen a lot of videos about skinwalkers and all that. I'm one to believe in the Holy Spirit. I just don't believe that God would allow the devil to have spirits come and just like kill it. Because, I mean, if you think about that, the devil would have been destroyed the world if he was able to do that. But I do think that we are in a spiritual battle. I do think that there are demons here, and I do think they're able to inhabit and use people and animals. I've seen that TikTok about that parrot, and I do believe that that parrot was possessed. I saw a lot of comments where people were saying that that parrot was probably from an abused person. I did not buy that. When that parrot, go Google that and watch that about the parrot attacking his owner, with the owner being afraid. And when the parrot would try to coach the owner over to him, his voice would change and the parrot would be like, "I'm not going to hurt you." You know, you could like literally hear the demon coming out of this parrot. And I do believe, and if you read your Bible, it tells you, look, the first sin, the first temptation rather, was committed by a snake. So that's really letting you know animals can be possessed as well. Demons can use these animals, but I just want to know what your thoughts are. I'm really fascinated by this. I'm going to go to Stone Mountain as much as I can to see if I can find something. I just need some more evidence. To me, I already got 100%. I just want to see what this thing is. Now, I want to see what this thing is. So you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, y'all, to Heart ATL. I love you guys, and so does the Trinity. Mwah, mwah, mwah.